Hi, Kayla. Welcome back.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm really glad it's the weekend now.
That's good. I'm glad too. What have you been doing in school this past week?
Well, we learned about math and, World War II and the Holocaust. I had a band concert, and in gym we played soccer, and I really like soccer.
What position do you play in soccer?
I like to play midfield because that's the one that you run the most in, and I like running.
Oh boy, that sounds really hard. Do you play for the school team or a club team?
Well, the school doesn't have a team because we're in middle school, but we have like an intramural team, like in after school stuff. But I never really joined it, but I've always wanted to, so maybe.
Okay, well that's very interesting. How did your band concert go?
It went pretty good. I played the flute, and my director let me sit in the first chair.
That is awesome. I'm really happy it went well. When did you learn how to play the flute?
I first learned when I was like 4 or something like that. My mom actually got me this little plastic flute when I was little, and I decided that I didn't want to play the plastic flute forever, so I asked if I could play the real flute now that I'm in middle school.
That's a really great story. Was your mom at the concert last night?
Kind of. I mean, she went, and she was there for most of it, but she went out to smoke like a cigarette before my band came on, so she missed me playing.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. How'd that make you feel?
Well, it would have been nice for her to see it, but I guess that's just something she does.
Now, does she miss events like this often because she has to, step out for whatever reason?
I mean, she's very busy, but I'm just really lucky that she works so hard for me to have all the things I do, like my flute and like my soccer ball and stuff.
I'm really glad you recognize all the things you have, but do you recognize that your mom is something that's kind of missing from what you want?
I know she's missing a lot. She gets home late. She leaves when I get on the bus for school in the morning, so she's just not around much.
Okay. Do you guys ever eat dinner together? Any sort of meals?
No, I mean, I eat on my own. Plus, I'm usually tired before she gets home, so I'll just go to my room and read or something until she gets back, and then she'll just eat on her own.
Do you ever wish that you guys would eat together or do more things together?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to eat dinner with her as long as she actually sits there and eats with me.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if we eat together, she always gets a phone call from work or friends or whatever, whoever wants to talk to her. She'll just walk out on the balcony and talk to them while I sit inside and eat alone, once again.
Do you ever, get the chance to talk to your mom about your feelings regarding her missing school events or dinner with you?
I only really have a chance when if I were to stay up late and talk to her, or like early in the morning when we're getting ready for school and work.
Okay. How would a conversation go if you were to talk to her at one of those times?
I don't know. I mean, I would try to tell her something and have a conversation with her, but she's usually the one that walks away and just brushes it off instead of talking to me.
Does she normally walk away from those types of conversations?
Yeah.
And how do you feel when she walks away?
Ignored and pretty annoyed. It makes me not ever want to talk to her again.
Okay, so you've tried having conversations like this with her before?
Yeah. I try to tell her about people ignoring me at school, and at after-school club, but she just does the same thing as the kids at school and just ignores me.
So kids are ignoring you during school and during your after-school club?
Yeah.
And what makes you think people are ignoring you?
Well, I like to read a lot, and the other kids are always playing games and being loud, and I like to sit in the corner and just read and be quiet, and I kind of just really like to be by myself most of the time.
Okay. So if you like to be by yourself most of the time, then maybe the other kids aren't really ignoring you.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you ever tried joining in with the other kids during school or at your after-school club?
A couple of times, maybe, but I didn't really like the games they were playing, so I'd usually just walk off and pick out a new book.
Okay, and what kind of games do you like to play?
Monopoly. I have this yarn game that's kind of cool, but the other kids play like loud games.
Okay. Have you ever tried suggesting playing Monopoly or your yarn game with those other kids?
I asked a couple of kids once, and they just said that they'd rather go play capture the flag or whatever. Like, I like those outside games, but I don't like to play them all the time. So I'd rather just be by myself if that's my only option.
Okay. Maybe a goal we can work on for this coming week is to join in with the other kids. Maybe play some of their games for a while and then maybe switch it to your games. And maybe only try reading your books for an hour a day. So that way you're spending time with the other kids and you're also getting time to read.
Yeah, I can try to do that. Maybe I can read like at night instead of like all day long, because I could read all day long. But what if the kids I try to play with don't want to play with me at all?
Well, then you can try playing with someone else, but the best you can do is keep trying, right?
Yeah, you are right. But the worst part is that my mom acts just like the kids at school.
What do you mean?
Well, I'll try to show her something or talk to her, and she'll look, but she'll just say something like she always says, like, "That's nice, sweetie," or something totally unrelated to what I was talking about, or what I was showing her, and then she's just not really paying attention, as always.
So what it sounds like to me is that you try to get her attention, but she's not really giving you her full attention, right?
Right. I used to try to get her attention more often, but now I just stay quiet because I know it's not worth it.
Do you want to have a better relationship with your mother?
Duh.
So you've tried talking to your mom about these things, but you think she ignores you and walks away. It kind of sounds, like because of that, you are very hesitant about having another one of those conversations with her.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, maybe we can have your mom come in here with you next time, and together we can talk about how you've been feeling. Is that something you'd like to try?
Yeah, I'd want to try that. But I don't know how we're going to get her to talk to us.
Well, I can request that she sit in on a session, and I'll help you through it.
So you'll do all the talking?
No, not really. I'd like it if you were able to share your thoughts with her, and I'd be sort of your mediator to help you out.
What if she lies?
Lies about what?
Any promises she makes about doing better with me? Same old, same old.
Well, then that would be another thing that we can discuss if it happens, but we can't sit here and think of every what-if situation because it hasn't happened yet.
True. But what if she tells you there is no problem?
Well, you have told me your side and what you think the issues are, so we can do our best to communicate both ways. Do you remember those I statements we worked on before?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to use those in the session with her. We don't want her to feel targeted or hurt by the conversation, just like you wouldn't either.
Yeah, you're right. Because, using those I statements, it'll help more since, it is about how I feel and not just, me telling her, all the things she's doing wrong. Because I know that wouldn't be something that I'd want to hear.
You are very right, Kayla. Are you feeling good about this conversation with her next week?
Yeah, as long as you're here to help me.
And I definitely will be. You just have to be confident in what you're saying and everything will be fine.
Okay.
So I'll see you next week, same time, but with you and your mom. I'll go talk to her now while you gather your things.
Sounds good.